Links to join the channel here over at SubScribestar. So let's see what Andrew Anglin over at the Daily Stormer. Daily Stormer and Mary Sue are my two favorite websites. So Nick Fuentes allowed back on Twitter after Congress passes their recent bill. A little bit sus there. The left wing is terrified of free speech, and their goal is to get you to self-censor through fear. So Nick Fuentes allowed back on Twitter because his Groyper army harassed Elon Musk just relentlessly and often enough that Elon finally gave in. And of course, the usual virtue signaling pussies in the media are pretending to be triggered. I hope they don't really care. I hope this is just kind of mindless virtue signaling, because caring about one young political commentator out of so many out there, it seems pathological. Have they considered touching grass? I was going to say all they have to do is block him and they don't have anything to worry about, but that's not how these globalist parasites work, because they don't want you to listen to wrongthink, which in their mind, they think of the very mild Fuentes is some kind of extremist, extremely whatever. Really, it's just that the bullshies don't want young men to listen to Fuentes or listen to anyone who's not under their control. The left wing has to control other people. They can't just leave people alone to do their own thing. So Fuentes got to start up on YouTube back in the day when it was cool. Back when Soft was on, there was a period of time when YouTube was fun and not what it is now. It's just totally lame. And they do it over a couple of years, so people just kind of adjust to it, and they look around YouTube and like, wait a minute, this isn't the YouTube it was even a few years ago. What happened? It's all just makeup tutorials and just the lamest milquetoast political coverage. It's like, well, that's what Google wants. They don't want Trump 2.0. So everyone when Cool got kicked off and went over to DLive, and then when DLive kicked everyone, it was like Owen Benjamin and Vince of the Red Elephants, and a bunch of others over on DLive, and then for some reason DLive kicked them off, which is weird, because I think they're owned by a Chinese national or something. It's like, why would they care? And then they went over to Rumble, and Odyssey got live streaming, and Fuentes just built his own site called Cozy, and alternatives like John Mini Potatoes, GTV, and Shing, and a bunch of other platforms started to take off. I guess, as tech advances, the price to get a video hosting platform comes down a little bit. So the thing is, the best thing for the alt community was getting kicked off of YouTube, which I think the forced exodus happened in 2018, because they pushed the money into alternatives, and YouTube has become known as just this soy platform for the milquetoast Coomer consumer crowd. YouTube has kind of turned into a parody of itself, where the thumbnails with the open mouth, the soy mouth guy, they look, pointing their finger at something and pretending to just be endlessly fascinated because it works on people, I guess. Who's Jeremy from the Quartering is the furthest right person on YouTube now, which is probably like he probably reads the writing on the wall, which is why he's pushing Rumble so much. Good for him for that. So you're over target when you get kicked off the video platforms and the payment processors and banned from, everything that they can ban you from. So whatever Fuentes is saying must scare the powers that be. The thing is, what he says is an issue for the puppet masters, because he has a large audience of men following him, and that is a problem for him. This is from the Daily News. Elon Musk reinstates a Twitter account of neo-based Chad Hugo boss Nick Fuentes, far-right pundit. Is he really that far-right? From some pussy soy boy Brian Nemitz. So he's met with President Trump when he was with the Kanye thing, and he's in the circles where he's making contact with Elon Musk, or at least Elon Musk knows who he is. And Elon Musk is actually more powerful than Trump in terms of social media. So the men behind the curtains are nervous that someone who sees them, the deep state types, will occasionally call them out. The left cannot have free speech. They need to censor you and get you to self-censor with fear, where CNN some guy made a meme of Trump wrestling someone, and they imposed a CNN logo over it, and they threatened him and threatened to dox him for making a meme. And I mean, people started to look at the mainstream media for what they were, these monsters who were controlling this narrative. And I would think the events of the past 3 years with that little Wu flu thing that went around would have awakened a bunch of people. The mainstream media wants some ideas to be off the table, which is a problem for the free speech crowd, because we want to be able to discuss everything without getting fired and having the banks cancel our accounts and the Lugan press try to get us killed with stochastic terrorism, because that's the goal of the mainstream yellow media. So things are at an impasse where the media and government is such a wretched hive of scum and villainy that it's completely untrustworthy. I hate to say, like no true Scotsman, you have to be a fucking idiot to trust the media and government. To the point where the media will push a story against something, and then the commercial break will come up and they'll be sponsored by the competitor. It's like it just happens out in the open, and it's gaslighting to such an extent that people think, oh, the media and the government wouldn't lie to us. And you look at them and like, why exactly do you think that? Oh, because the media and the government told us they wouldn't. Oh, let's look into the time that the media and government has lied to us. And you're like, oh, it's pretty extensive. This is just toxic, isn't it? Yes, it's very toxic. So alternatives have sprung up. And you have the mainstream media pushing to censor the alternative media because they feel only the mainstream media should be able to control the narrative. What was that MSNBC, Nina, I don't know, Bruscheff or something was talking about only her and the mainstream media should be able to control the truth or something. Oh, wait, Nina Jankowicz and the Ministry of Truth? That actually happened? Yeah, that actually happened. So the MSM is pushing to censor the alt media, and they call it misinformation, disinformation. I mean, talk about Orwellian logic, good think and wrong think there, or they call it hate speech. It's like there's no such thing. That's just lies from the puppet master. Hate speech and like all those kind of labeling is just to get hate speech means it's speech that they hate. It means you're probably if the $1 trillion media complex is calling your words hate speech, then you know you're getting over a target. We're at the point where the media is scared of diversity of thought in the open marketplace of ideas, but it gives everyone in the alt community a chance to become our own media. And Fuentes is one of the bigger small channels out there who's been canceled everywhere, and so is a credit to Vincent James, the Red Elephant. He listed the things he was canceled off of, and it's everywhere they could, like from renting cars to renting hotel rooms to MasterCard, Wells Fargo, Chase Morgan, Bank of America, everything you could possibly be canceled for. And there's a couple of English equivalents. Who's that girl, Laura Towler's Tees over in the UK somewhere. But these people just keep on going with their own platforms, which is absolutely amazing. I think Fuentes has had some deep pocket donors who enabled him to set up a website and a streaming platform. We're like, okay, that might cost $50,000 a year to set up a small platform. And he's got those kind of donors that can make that happen. And the thing is, he's not my cup of tea because he's not far right. He's politically incorrect, and that's not the same thing. And he's only 26 or something. In 10 years, he'll probably mature into a more well-rounded political pundit. But the normies hear people dropping racial epithets and hot words and hot phrases and covering topics that they've been self-censored to be terrified on, and they just hear those epithets and they focus on that because they want to shut down any criticism of non-whites. They want all the hatred focused on the beautiful people of the light, people like you and I, the blonde, red-haired, and light-eyed people. But the alternative community is shining a light at where the real problems are. And it's obviously not us because we're freaking awesome. And with Elon, the SPLC, ADL, and ACLU have a problem with something. Well, then it means you're definitely over target, because those are all run by the worst people on earth. So they want all the hatred focused on you, and we're going to shine a light back on them. ADL is a great example, but obviously I can't get into it on YouTube too much. So with Elon allowing Fuentes back, I'm just saying, look at the history. Don't say anything in the comments. Back on Twitter, his account has blown up to 250,000 followers, and all the frog accounts have gained mutuals as well. Being in the mainstream is powerful, and the left is triggered, especially the ADL, but they never leave to go to another platform. And they're in a weird position because they do these posts, and it shows you the views, and then it shows you the likes. And they'll do a post, and they'll get like 200 likes from their own employees, I think, but it'll get 3 million views. And that's in a bizarrely low ratio. It means that, and they turn off comments. It means the things they're saying are not popular. In fact, it'd be funny if Musk deleted that feature of turning off comments. That would be interesting, to allow it to truly be a free speech platform. So the stuff the ADL is saying is not popular, but whatever Greenblatt wants, almost anything he wants, he gets. Where he'll go to some university campus and he'll start losing his mind over some protest. And don't get me wrong, the protests have not been peaceful protests. You cannot block people's You cannot block people from moving around the campus freely. That's not a peaceful protest. So in that regard, he's right. But what happens is he makes a fuss, and the next day the police go in there and just start arresting people. It's like, gee, you cops seem pretty effective at this arresting. It's like you were trained to do it. Yeah. So where were you the past 4 years? Oh, the mayors and governors told us not to. Oh, that's weird. Thing is, Fuentes, his goal, if you go to his site, he wants a Christian nation, and his second goal is to stop white large-scale removal from this mortal coil. And for some reason, this really triggers the media, who are pretty open about their anti-white hatred, and the ADL and SPLC, who are controlled by people who very much want that to happen. In fact, they're keeping track of the demographic change as they decline. It's like, do you think the nation will be the same nation when it was, 80-90% European, now that it's like 55%? And as it continues to decline, do you think the nation will be the same? Oh, yeah. People are fungible. They're just cogs in this organic carbon machine. They're not. Unfortunately, we're going to find out the hard way. I mean, some of you younger people are going to be living through nightmares previously unimaginable. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. You can check out Fuentes over at Twitter if you're on there. I'm on there too. I mean, I'm on there for a few months, and then it's like, it's still a censorious platform. You still will get kicked off for humorously advocating, whatever. They just, like, Twitter just doesn't have that kind of sense of humor. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks everyone over at SubScribeStar, and I will see you guys all next episode.